A runaway trolley is hurtling down the track. Its brakes are gone. Ahead, 5 people are working on the line, their backs turned, too far along to escape. In a few seconds, they will be dead. But you are standing beside a lever. Pull it, and the trolley switches to a side track, where there is one person, also at work, also unable to get clear. Do nothing, and 5 die. Pull the lever, and you have killed 1 to save the other 5. Your hand is on the lever. The trolley is coming. What do you do? Most people, asked this, answer the same way. Pull it. 5 lives against 1. The arithmetic is not close. It feels heavy. It feels like a terrible thing to be near, but it does not feel wrong. Turn the trolley, save the 4 extra lives. Hold on to that answer, because we are going to test it, and it may not survive the next few minutes. This is the most famous thought experiment of the last 100 years. It carries a deceptively silly name, the Trolley Problem, and it has been aimed at everything from the criminal law to the code inside self-driving cars. But it was not built to be a party game. It was built carefully by a philosopher to catch something slippery about right and wrong that almost all of us can feel and almost none of us can explain. Let us find out whether you can. Here is the same problem, moved just slightly. The trolley is still run away, the 5 still trapped on the line ahead, but this time there is no side track and no lever. You are standing on a footbridge above the rails, watching it come. Beside you at the railing stands a large man, a stranger, leaning out to look. And you do the physics in a horrible instant. His body, dropped onto the track, is heavy enough to stop the trolley. Yours is not. One firm push, and he goes over, and he dies, and the 5 walk home. Same math. 1 life spent to save 5. By the very logic that turned the trolley a moment ago, you should push him without a second thought. Almost nobody will. Ask people, and the numbers flip. The same crowd that happily pulled the lever refuses, flatly, to push the man off the bridge. Something in us slams shut. It does not feel like a hard sum anymore. It feels like murder, like a line you simply do not cross, whatever the numbers on the other side. And there is the trap, gently sprung. On paper, the 2 cases are identical. 1 person dies, 5 people live. Yet one choice feels permissible and the other feels monstrous. If you are a creature who only adds up lives, you cannot explain the gap. And if you are not, then what, precisely, is the rule you are obeying? You changed your answer between one story and the next, and you cannot say why. For a long time, neither could the philosophers. The trolley did not begin as a riddle to torment undergraduates. It began in 1967 in a paper by the British philosopher Philippa Foot, one of the founders of modern virtue ethics, under the sober title, The Problem of Abortion and the Doctrine of Double Effect. Foot was not playing games. She was chasing a real and very old distinction, the difference between a harm you intend and a harm you merely bring about or foresee. Her original driver steers a runaway tram off a track with 5 men onto a track with 1, a case machined to isolate exactly that distinction, inside an argument about some of the hardest moral questions there are. About a decade later, the American philosopher Judith Jarvis Thomson took it up, sharpened it, and gave it the name we now use. It was Thomson who lifted you out of the driver's seat and set you beside the lever as a bystander. It was Thomson who built the footbridge and placed the large man on it. And she lined case against case, the switch, the bridge, a surgeon who could quietly cut up 1 healthy visitor to save 5 dying patients. Each one designed to hold 2 situations side by side that feel morally different while being numerically the same. This was never idle. It is a precision instrument, refined over decades for a single purpose: to find the exact point where our moral intuitions bend and to force us to say out loud what is bending them. So what is the difference between the lever and the bridge? The oldest answer is the one Foot started from, the doctrine of double effect. When you pull the lever, the 1 person's death is not your aim. It is a side effect of saving the 5. If they somehow stepped off the track at the last instant and lived, you would be delighted. Your plan worked regardless. But when you push the man off the bridge, his death is not a side effect. It is the plan. You need him to be struck. You are using him, his body, his death, as your means to the outcome you want. And using a person that way, many of us feel deep down, is a line the arithmetic simply cannot buy back. It is an elegant explanation, and it may even be the right one. But be careful, it is one answer among several, not a settled verdict. Others locate the difference in doing versus merely allowing, or in the raw physical intimacy of shoving a man with your own two hands rather than flipping a switch at a distance. Psychologists have slid people into brain scanners and argued that the footbridge lights up the ancient circuits of emotion while the lever stays cool and calculating. A genuinely influential idea and a genuinely contested one that nobody should sell to you as established fact. The honest truth is that after half a century of some of the sharpest minds in ethics, there is still no agreed account of why you flinch. We have only better and better maps of the flinch itself. Judith Thomson felt the pull of it as much as anyone. Decades after she named the problem, she reversed her own famous verdict and argued that the bystander may not turn the trolley after all. The woman who built the modern puzzle worked at it for 40 years and could not close it, which is the real secret of the trolley problem and the reason it refuses to die. It is not a riddle with the solution printed in the back of the book. It is a mirror. Lay the cases in a row and they pull apart two whole ways of thinking that live uneasily inside the very same person. One voice says, add up the consequences, save the greater number, let the outcome decide. The world is plainly better with one grave in it than 5. The other voice says, there are things you must not do, even for a good result. You may not butcher one person for parts, however many you would save by it. The trolley catches both voices in the act and pointedly declines to tell you which one is right. That is why it keeps escaping the seminar room. It turns up wherever we are forced to trade lives by rule instead of by feeling. In the triage tent, in the laws of war, in the way a country decides whose safety to buy first. Lately it turns up most in the code we are now writing for machines that steer themselves. If a crash is coming, who does the car choose? It is an irresistible headline, but be careful there as well. A self-driving car is not really a person standing on a footbridge with time to think. Its choices are pre-programmed, probabilistic, made in advance by committees and statistics, not in a split second on a bridge. The engineers who build them will tell you the genuinely hard problems lie somewhere else entirely, in seeing the pedestrian at all. The trolley is a lens, not a blueprint, and mistaking the one for the other has misled more than a few people who should know better. Because in the end, it was never really about the trolley. Foot and Thomson used a runaway tram the way a doctor uses a small rubber hammer. One sharp tap in precisely the right spot to make something hidden jump where you can finally see it. The 5 and the 1, the lever and the bridge, they are only the tap. The thing that jumps is you.